Thank you, Emily, so much for taking the time to
That's all right.
speak with me. This is the Jared Presley Experience
Yeah,
podcast.
thank you for
Um,
asking me.
yes. If you could go over your business, what do you do as far as online? What does that all involve?
So basically, I sell antiques, collectibles, and handmade crafts on eBay and Vinted. I started doing it like as a sort of hobby years ago. And before that, before I started doing it like full time, I was working for a small online comic book shop business. Um, but I left that at the start of this year, and then basically, I weren't really sure what I wanted to do for a while. But I've always loved antique collectibles and just interesting things, really. Um, so I thought, I might as well have a go at it and try and make it my full-time job essentially, and it's going okay so far. So can't
Oh, that's
complain.
good. That's good. I have a lot of memories growing up of going to like antique shops. And even if I
Mm.
couldn't buy it, it's always nice to see and look at different antiques that are around.
Yeah.
How do you, so do you like go to vintage stores and to get the antiques to sell? And generally, how does that work? How do you find the
Um,
antiques?
it's a bit like I suppose in a way, it's a bit like a treasure hunt every time I sort of go at it out. I go to a lot of secondhand sort of like you say, like antique shops and just sort of interesting little knick-knack shops and things. Um, I also go to auctions quite a lot. There's one near me that I go to like every other week, and there's a few others in between that I go to on like car boot sales. Oh, I'm not sure what you guys would call them in America, actually, probably like yard sales or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Things like that. Yeah. But at the moment, the auctions are where I get a lot of my more interesting stock, especially some of like the older antique books and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You said you've been doing this for a while as far as the online selling.
Mhm.
Has there been any
Yeah.
challenges compared to when you first were doing it to now with technology? Because even in
Oh,
the last few
yeah.
years, it's changed so much.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it sometimes. I mean, in some ways it's got better, in some ways it's got worse. One of the good things, especially nowadays, is that it is so easy, to sell to people abroad. Like this morning, I sent some Dragon Ball Z trainers to somebody in Czechoslovakia, which can be quite useful for shifting some of your more niche or unique items because there's something out there for everybody really. I don't think there's anything really that's unsellable. Somebody out there is always going to want it, you know what I mean? um but I think having smartphones for buying and selling and for marketing what you buy and sell are great because you can. I've recently started learning how to like edit videos and stuff on like CapCut or whatever, and that can be really great for like showcasing interesting items and presenting them again to a wider range of people, like people
I
all
think
over the
of the
world.
world. Yeah, really. And it was so much harder way back when, especially before the internet. Obviously, the reach was much, much more limited. Um,
Yeah.
though I would say an issue now is there's just so much out there, it's getting yourself noticed because there's so much
Yeah,
of
that's
just
true.
social media out
That's a very good point. That's very, very
there.
true. And I think, with certain especially certain types of collectibles or like collectibles that are sort of based around certain big franchises like Star Wars and Pokemon. I think if you're dealing with items within them franchises, it can be really hard to get noticed because, like you said, there's so many other people out there who are interested in the same thing and doing the same thing really.
Yeah, but it is nice. I think it's just more of just a marketing thing of how you market yourself. In general, Because I know there's some specialties you have, but you still have a wide variety of different antiques.
Yeah.
How do you figure like the marketing as far as your social media platform? Is there
Um,
any?
I'm still sort of trying to work it out, really. I mean, as far as my business goes, I only really started like the um the social media aspect of it like a couple of months ago. So um I started using TikTok for the first time ever, which I'm actually enjoying a lot more than I expected to.
Oh, no.
But I think it is sort of, you know, sort of trying a bit of everything and just seeing what sticks really. And keeping things interesting. And I always try to sort of share photos of items that people might not have seen a lot of. Like earlier today on TikTok, I put up a big giant 3D Freddy Krueger poster that I've had in stock for a while, and you don't see them that often.
I haven't seen that
So I
yet.
think
Which
it's just
Nightmare on
trying
Elm
to
Street?
engage with people, like,
Oh,
and
okay.
try and appeal to as many different interests as you can while sort of staying tonally consistent with um the content that you're putting out there, really.
Yeah, and then sometimes, like you're saying with the Freddy Krueger thing, like sometimes it's more, I don't say niche, but like things that sometimes those are things that can sell easier because they're harder to find, which is nice because of the
Yeah.
array of stuff you have. Some of it is not as common,
Yeah,
which also,
that's true.
so if someone's really looking for that, it's not easy to find, especially some of the older
Mm.
books you have.
Yeah, like I have found that, and especially and quite similarly as well with like some of the more niche sort of ornamental antiques that I've had in. Like I had a little handmade kaleidoscope in a couple of weeks ago, and I'd made like a little video about it and put it on my TikTok and that. And I thought, this is going to be a bit of an hard sell. I didn't think it were going to shift for quite a while, but then literally I put them videos out and it sold like day after. So, I think it's surprising sometimes what items can be in demand. Like, like I had uh, I I had a while ago as well, but quite recently, a big batch of vintage marbles come in as well, and they flew off the shelves, like, and for good money as well. Like, I guess marbles must be making a comeback or something, but that were a surprise.
Yeah, I haven't really seen marbles too much since I was a kid. Like, and even then they were trying to
So,
finish the then.
yeah, like, but apparently there's a big collector's market for them. But it's kind of one of the nice things about the job as well. You sort of, you learn about different sort of genres of collecting, and you know and you do learn a lot of the history behind things as well, especially with things like antique books and whatnot.
There's a lot of work behind the scene. What people see on the screen as far as what you're selling, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much research that goes into it.
Yeah. Oh, massively. And that's, to be honest, that's one of my favorite parts of doing the job, really, is doing research. That's even in my previous jobs that have been in sort of, the same sort of industry. Um, that's always been one of my favorite parts of doing the job, really. Because it's quite satisfying in a way when you're trying to, I don't know, find out what year a really, really old book were published, and you're digging through like, various Google Books files and scans and all. So it's like, it's quite, I quite enjoy that side of it.
Oh, indeed. I'm glad you're doing this. I mean, it sounds really fun. And
Yeah,
you
it's
mentioned,
it's it's really good.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you're
Uh,
going, sorry. I interrupted you.
okay, that's all good. You mentioned that you used to work at a co online comic realtor
Mhm.
before.
Yeah.
Was there advantages to that? Because I know, at least in America, like brick and mortar comic book places are closing. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just because rent wise it's harder to maintain, or at
Yeah.
least with an
Big time.
online presence. You don't have to worry about rent with a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you should say that, to be honest, because the company I was working for, they were originally a brick and mortar comic book shop as well, and like you've just said, it was like rents, business rates, and obviously, sort of complications following like the pandemic and things. The prices of everything just skyrocketed. Um, and again, for selling more unusual or niche or sometimes even higher value comic books, it just sort of made sense to focus it more online as opposed to, just in a little shop that, sometimes on a bad day you won't get that many people passing through. So, you know, even though there is more competition online, at least you don't have that sort of anxiety around whether or not you're going to get the footfall that you need that day, or, if you're going to get the money in the till that you need, really. So I can see why more businesses are sort of turning towards the online model as opposed to, having an in-person shop. Though, I think shops like comic book shops and independent retailers are something that, are gonna definitely be missed and are being missed. They are here in UK at least anyway, you
I feel
know.
like, I mean, to some degree they'll always be around, but I feel like it's mostly in
Mm.
bigger cities. Obviously, over there,
Yeah,
London, there's always going to be something over
yeah.
there like that, and over here, like New York, LA. But
Hmm.
in general, like it just so much you can have with an online presence. Just because,
Yeah,
like, it's your shop in London, obviously when it's brick and mortar, that was limited to people in that area, and now it's worldwide,
yeah.
which makes it
That's
nice.
true. Yeah, like, and it's like you say, it can be, especially if you're in a quite a small place. I mean, where I live at the moment in Yorkshire, that's, it's, I mean, compared to cities in America, it's tiny,
And it's not
But
London, so it's
yeah, no, nowhere near London, way up north. Um, but oh, sorry, sorry, it's just popped up on my phone. But yeah, sorry, my phone just started ringing then.
oh no,
Um,
it's okay.
you know, it's I think for some businesses it can be quite a hard choice. Um, you know, whether or not you go down the bricks and mortar route or whether you pursue the online side of it. I mean, we did originally when I was working for the comic book shop, tried to do both at the same time, but it were a bit of a nightmare as far as like inventory management and things like that go. So they did
Yeah.
eventually just decide to go like fully online, really.
Because at that point, like you don't have to pay rent. I mean, you can just have it literally in your house.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing at minute, like,
Yeah.
which is a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I've got like an antique clock stored under my bed at minute, so that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you have to use some of your house space. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
That's
like,
I was
it's
just
just one
thinking,
of them sacrifices that you make, isn't it, really?
indeed, I was just thinking because tomorrow is Black Friday as far as this
Hmm.
recording, and I was just thinking, like, I always try to support small businesses, and what you're doing is a small business. It's not
Yeah,
Amazon. It's not, well, over in America, it's not Walmart, Target. It's
yeah,
not, so, I always say that like it's best to buy independent like that because it directly supports small
yeah.
businesses. Do you have any
Oh,
Black
I
Friday
definitely.
sales or anything?
Well, I've got some more stuff coming on at the moment on my eBay and Vinted for Black Friday. I mean, as far as like deals and stuff go, because of the way the platforms work, it's sometimes a bit funny, like setting discounts and whatever. I mean, you can send
Yeah,
offers to people, but I'm always very willing to accepting offers from people, and like I'll do, decent discounts, especially on people who are buying like multiple items. Because I've had that quite a lot recently, obviously with Christmas coming up. A lot of people buying like big bundles of film memorabilia and magazines and storybooks, things like that, like for little kids or whatever.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so, I always try and knock a bit of money off there, if I can. And I am lucky enough as well to have quite a decent amount of like recurring customers, which is nice, so I always like try and put like a little thank you note in and like maybe a free gift or something where I can. Because that, especially when you're running a small business, having the recurring customers is what, is really important.
Oh yes. It helps keep it alive. And obviously, with this new business you have, you're just starting up, but more and more you're growing reoccurring customers. So hopefully, over
Mm.
the next few years, you'll like keep growing more and more and more.
Yeah,
So,
that's the idea, hopefully. I mean, I'm hoping, I'm planning anyway, in the new year to do some more sort of like in-person like event type things. Like again, car boot sales and a few like small comic cons and arts and crafts fairs, stuff like that. I mean, nothing like massive, but it'd just be nice to start doing stuff like that again. Because like I used to do like arts and crafts fairs and comic cons in the past and really enjoyed it, and made some decent money there as well. So,
oh,
that's
you can
something that I'm really keen to do.
for sure. And obviously, you're limited by location, but still, there's a wide variety of people who can see your work, like and
Yeah.
then, just have a space there. Because I go to a lot of those type of things. They just had a lot around my area for the holiday
Mm.
market. So
Yeah.
around this time of year, it's where it's very much a lot of vendors. It's always a fun time.
Yeah,
Um,
I bet it is.
before I end it off, I'll
Mhm.
share some links of your work and
Oh,
also of
thank you.
your store. Um, Are you still working on any of your art projects? Because I've seen a lot of the stuff you've done, like the dioramas, the
Yeah,
sketches.
also it's really, I mean, I have at the moment I've been focusing a lot on the handmade hand painted Pokemon cards that I do, like the altered art ones. So I've got a new batch of them coming out this weekend. And I've got a couple of new paintings that I'm like sort of in this very early stages of at the moment. I've been doing more watercolors than anything really. But again, I am hoping, especially in the new year, to, get some more pieces in exhibitions and stuff like that. Though this past year, as far as like, getting my artwork into exhibitions and magazines and stuff's been really good. So I'm hoping, if I can sort of carry that on alongside doing, the antiques and collectibles business, it'd be kind of nice to have the two things sort of running concurrently, and
So,
hopefully, getting a bit of interest from both avenues.
so is the artwork on? Is it on sale on your eBay? Is that separate, or do you have
Yeah,
it?
I have got some artwork for sale on eBay at the moment. Yeah, a lot of it's Pokemon
Yeah.
related. What a surprise! And there is some other like just general sort of fine art bits on there. There's like a few music related bits and just some sort of random odds and ends really. But I would ideally like, some more just uh sort of standard fine art pieces to be available on there. So I am planning on getting some more of those uploaded because a lot of them are just sort of packed away in storage at the moment 'cause some of them are quite big. So, it can be a bit awkward storing them at home, really.
Oh, I always enjoy looking at them. Actually,
Oh,
you
thank
sent me a
you.
comic. Wow, it's a few years ago. I still have it
Oh, God,
of the
yeah.
three cats. Remember, you did a comic of
Yeah.
your cat. I
Plus,
still have
yeah,
it.
that's a blast from past.
Really nice. And I was surprised. I didn't realize that you told me that you went to school for music because I am a guitarist, so I always thought that was
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did. I mean, I still like play guitar and bass and that, just as a bit of a hobby now. But I was well, we're in a couple of bands like in my late teens, early 20s. And we used to like, gig across the UK and record and, got on radio a couple of times and stuff like that. So,
It's really cool.
it were really good fun. I think, but I think any musician knows how sort of taxing it can be to, try and make a go of that while, you're trying to do other things that you want to achieve as well. So I would
Or try to get
like
money.
to,
That's the hard thing. A lot of times, at least in
yeah,
America, it's hard to make money doing music.
yeah, same here. That's literally the same thing in the UK. I mean, I'd like to, go go back to doing a band again at some point, I think. But I'll probably have to wait till my business is a bit more established, till I've got time to sort of go and do that, I think.
Of course, and hopefully, if you do, hopefully you'll be able to play in America at one point. That would be fun
Oh,
if you wanted to.
that'd be amazing. Like that'd be talk about living dream, honestly. That'd be great.
Nashville, Memphis, some of those places, New Orleans. It's just a
Oh,
really cool city.
that'd be like literally a dream come true to go and do that. Like absolutely.
Well, I'll believe it'll happen. I believe it.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
maybe if I like manifest it really, really hard, keep hoping. You never know. First time for everything.
thank you, Emily, for taking the time to speak with me. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you for asking me. I really appreciate it. It's really nice of you, Jared.
Of course, and I will include the links of your art and
Oh,
of
thank you.
your TikTok, eBay, etc. Thanks again.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.